Hi, I'm Annabelle. I'm 33. I live in Switzerland and I'm second year gravel team Café de Cycliste. So I first came across Café de Cycliste in the physical form of the shop, in the shop Café in Nice. And I met a girl there who was starting out working, and we just talked a little bit. And we got on really well. And then a few months later, like, you know, just a girl that we met, talked, voila, life moves on. And then a few months later, I get a phone call, and it's her. And she basically, the first thing she said was, Annabelle, you were unforgettable. Whichever way that means, good or bad, didn't matter. We're creating a gravel team, and I'm pretty sure you could create some pretty interesting content. And the rest is history. My best memory from last season, like the best, because there were lots. I think the best moment I had from last year was strangely the Monsterato. Even though it wasn't a race that I didn't win that one. I had many mechanicals, so actually it was a bad race for me. But the memory of all the team in the house and the support that I got, because they saw how much I was struggling, and like on and off the bike, and the feeling and the warmth that was surrounding me those few days. That's the memory that I really hold on to, is that it's not just a few girls doing a few gravel races. It's a real team, a real family, and I really felt it there. And it's my warmest memory from last year, which has got nothing to do with the bike, but it's human. We really are human. This season, my goals are, I could say complex, because I have 2 races that I have to defend the win. So we're going back to the Rift and the Traka, or the Traka then the Rift. So the goal, I suppose, I'd like to defend my 2 titles there. That would be great. If I don't, it's fine, because you never know what's going to happen in a gravel race. One puncture destroys your race. But yeah, so I'd like to defend my titles. And then we're going to Africa. And I suppose my goal for Africa is, I've done stage races, but I've never done a stage race where you have to sleep in a tent. I've done stage races where you go back to a lovely hotel and you've got a masseur, and it's all very civilized. So I'm really looking forward to the savage. The goal for that is I really want to survive that. And there's another race I'd quite like to win. My objective is I'd like to win the Octopus. It's a race that really suits me. It's you climb, you descend, you climb, you descend, you climb, descend. It was made for me, and so that's it's quite a key objective, is to get that one ticked under the belt. So I also have to think about my road season. So I have a Conti team, and I have a huge program and calendar with my road team. And mixing the two, it's the first glances, it's really quite a difficult thing to do, because you're like, well, I have this gravel objective and then I have this road objective, but the training for one helps with the other, and then the racing with one helps for the other. So I use the training for my road cycling to make me stronger physically on the gravel races, and then I use the gravel races as training for my road in preparation to really like do that final big effort, because it's a very different effort. In gravel, you just seem to be full gas all the time. So I do it as like a real de-blocker. But I have some very, very key objectives as well in my road cycling. But they're not dissimilar to the gravel. They're very much races that are in the mountains. So similar sorts of profiles. But yeah, I see it as that. It's the 2 actually complement each other. They help to get to the position, the form, and the strength that I want to have in both disciplines. So during winter, I'm off the bike, very much off the bike, for 2 reasons. The first reason, like specifically, is mentally. The season is long on the bike. When you're racing every weekend, often twice a week, you leave the house for sometimes 2 or 3 weeks on a go, because you've got several races here and there. You're traveling so much. it takes a lot of energy mentally to do that. But that you prepare for anyway, so you're prepared and you do it. But in the winter, it's the opportunity to step away from that. And so mentally, I changed sports and I cross-country ski to give myself a total break from cycling, but also physically. So one of the huge errors that a lot of cyclists do is that they just ride a bike. And that's really good for your legs, but it's not great for everything else. And actually, if you want to have strong legs, you need a strong bum. And if you want a strong bum, you need to have strong lower back. So the cross-country skiing is everything. It is arms, it doesn't look like it, but it is. Arms, shoulders, back, abs, like obviously legs. And the training is exceptional. It's so good. It's such quality training because every minute is training. There's no rest, there's no break. And this year I've been competing as well. Which is great. I had a second in my senior race in the first competition I did, and then I won the senior category in the second race that I did. And I have some more races coming up, which is super, super exciting. So yeah, I do that in winter, and it does a world of wonder. Yeah, no, I get the fear. I understand it. It's not just sport, by the way. Like, women are afraid to do more than just cycle. Like, it's professional life, it's corporate world, it's social situations, it's absolutely everything. It's not just women in cycling where there's like maybe a block because they think it's a man's world. Advice, I mean, how I did it was that I knew deep down that I had the capacity to be better on my own level. And not every girl is capable of being better or worse or stronger or faster or whatever, but it doesn't matter because you can be better on your own level, and it doesn't matter if there's a guy doing it, because of course a guy is going to be stronger in a sprint. He's going to out sprint you because he's twice your weight, he's got more power, and so what? Like, he can go and do that, but the moment you hit a hill, like, you'll destroy him. So you need to think all the time about not about comparing to what a man's doing, because that will never work. And we can be strong in our own ways, and that you have to do it in your own way, make your own world. So yeah, female cycling has developed a lot over the last few years, specifically financially. That is, for me, the significant factor. You see a lot more money being pumped into the women's sport, which means that girls can do the sport full-time, which means the level and the capacity and the performance of the women gets higher, which makes it more interesting to watch, which means it's put on TV, which means more sponsors, which means more money, which means more girls can do it, the level gets higher. So that's started to happen. And I would just love to see every girl that has a professional contract be paid professionally, and only do that and be able to, because the money's enough. At the moment, it's not there. But it started to develop like that, and that's what I'd love to see, is that when people say, yes, I'm in a professional cycling team, is that you're actually professional, you're paid enough to do it professionally 100% full time, and you don't have to work in a cafe or a bar at night. That's what I'd love to see. So in 1 year, what I'd very much like to be able to say to myself on a physical level is, well done, no broken bones. Like, you got through it. No broken bones, because my history of cycling is a history of going to hospital with something broken. But on a more personal level, on a more human level, I think I'd like to be able to look back and say to myself, like, you don't have any regrets. You did it. Like, you went full on everything. You never held back, and that's the message I'd like to say, is like, well done. You have no regrets.
Well, I'm Isabel from Belgium. I'm a medical sales rep, but I was a cyclist, a full-time cyclist before. Started cycling at 30, and so I've a bit of a special story. But I started graveling last year, and voila, that's my story so far.
What about yours?
So I was, in my past, I was a road racer for Lotto Soudal. So I did that for 5 years or so, but it's not paying too well. So, well, that's why I started working again. Yeah, but I continued cycling, so it's a combination. So that's, well, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 15 years ago or so. So I was always a track and field athlete, a runner, but always injured. And so I searched for something else, an alternative training. So I got myself a bike due to a friend, and I started cycling. And so then started doing triathlon. And in triathlon, I noticed that my cycling was so much better. And so, because I was 30 at the moment, and I needed to choose and make a decision, and so I decided to do cycling, go for it. The story must have begun last year, where I was riding La Monsterrato in Italy. And so whenever I knew Café du Cycliste from Instagram, and for sure I looked at the clothing because I'm very interested. But last year I saw the gravel team in Italy, and you know, they were really like, I could really I noticed them because of their clothing. And so I started like paying good attention to them, and yeah, that's how I kind of met. Yeah. Yes, I'm very happy to be in the team. Last year I was doing this individually, and it's just a lot of organization, and to do that together with a job and to do that together with training and all of that is too much. So I'm so happy to be in a team with great clothing, with great materials. It's great. Yeah, absolutely. I think being part of the team will bring me more peace for next season because I don't have to be worried about registrations or logistics and all of that. And also to be together in a team with other girls, you know, sharing experiences is amazing. I think you learn from each other. When it's, for example, certain course, then I can ask them questions about how to handle it, for example, and they can ask me things. So I think it could be great. Yeah. And altogether, that must have been well, probably 2 races. One is on the road as a time trialist, because I really trained for that in the past, and I became second in the nationals, which was the highest result I could reach, and that made me qualify for European Championships. But I was really, really proud of that because I just really worked hard for it. And yes, and then the other one is last year at the World Championships, where I was feeling so good, and well, it showed. So I became third, and also very proud of it. What are my goals? Well, again, I think to be qualified for the World Championships and to do even better than last year. So I really want to be on the podium again. But for sure, I'm trying to win this time. Yeah, I think that's a huge goal maybe, but it's in reach, so it should be possible. And furthermore, I think really enjoy racing on the gravel, being together with others, enjoying nature and all the chances I get. Yeah, well, the races I love probably are flat because I'm really tall, so I'm 182, so which makes me also very heavy, and climbing is not my thing. I love doing it, but to get a good result, I'm not the one to do it. Probably the flat race, so like last year I did the race, UCI race in Holland, which was totally flat. And yeah, well, that suits me more, and I think I had a lot of fun there, yeah. Well, I prepare in winter as well. I picked up running again and love doing it again, and so I think that is great alternative training. I do a lot of core work also, and sometimes I go for a swim. And of course, cycling, yes, if it's possible in Belgium, and if the weather is good enough, in the weekends I go for rides on my bike. During the week, it's indoor cycling on Zwift, yeah. Oh, I think it's possible really for everybody to start a gravel race. It doesn't really matter what the result will be, as long as you can enjoy it, and if you can, I think it's a great goal to just finish it, and you did awesome then. And about being in a race together with guys, it doesn't matter. I think learn from them, because most of the times their level is higher, they're better in technical skills, so why don't look at them and learn? Well, the evolution of women's cycling is going, well, it's going really, really hard. I think on the road you see that the level is going up so much, and that is, I think, because they're getting paid and more professional. I think on gravel it's also just, it's going super fast. Everybody's getting better skills, and yeah, it's just going better and better, and that's great. Yeah, well, there is this one race that is huge and that is really far away, and that's the one in Kenya, I don't know how you say it or pronounce it, is the migration race. That's the one I can't wait to do. I think I'll need a lot of training to get there, but it's gonna be very, very special. In cycling, well, I'm not the girl that gives up easily. I think I can continue longer than probably other people. I'm very powerful, I have long legs. My weaknesses are, well, climbing, obviously, it's not my thing, but I don't mind doing it. It's just in a race that is gonna be very difficult for me, yeah.
I'm Lidia Iglesias. I'm from Valderan. It's the north of Spain. It's a really small village with a lot of snow, even though it's in Spain. And yeah, I've been a cross-country skier for many years. Then I was in 2 pro cycling teams, and then now I'm a nurse. I'm working and I'm enjoying the bike. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Like as I'm from there, from Valderan, it's a really nice place to do like outside sports. And I've been skiing, I think, since I was 3 or 4 years old. Of course, because of my parents, and then I started into cross-country skiing because of my dad. And I think we've been always a family who loved sport, and yeah, my parents have always been like taking me everywhere and taking a lot of care about competitions and about like healthy lifestyle. And then I love that, and that's what I keep doing and what I want to keep doing for my life. Okay, so this one is a funny one, because actually I knew the brand and I really like the brand, but I didn't have any relationship with anybody from here. But last season, after a really good ski season, I went to Traka, and I was looking forward to that race, and I won that race, and I met them there. Like, I saw them with the kids and everything, and it looked like a really nice team. And of course, I was like impressed about the team, but that's it. And then like 2 weeks later, somebody from the team wrote me and offered me to go to the States and to the Rift with them. And of course I said yes. I went with them. And yeah, after that, I just kept in the team, and that's why I'm here. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I met them. I was having a coffee with some friends in La Fábrica in Girona, and they were doing some interviews. It was Toma and Maria from Iceland, and doing some interviews, and they asked what was gravel for me. And I remember I said, gravel is fun. And I remember Toma actually like smiling, and I thought like, I like these guys. And yeah, that was the first time I met them. I have a lot of good memories with the team. Like, I have any bad memory, but if I have to choose one, could maybe be Unbound, because it was the first time I met them, and everything was super easy. Everything was like if I knew them from before. We went on a really big camper, and Unbound, like the race, it's really crazy, really amazing, and it's in the States, so everything was super big, super fun, and also it was the first time with the team. So actually, I'm a nurse, and I work at night, so I'm super tired all the time. And I went to the States, I was super tired because of jet lag, because of night shifts, because like the stress of meeting new people and everything. And I was like, I was really trying to be awake all the time, but I think it was after the race I was dead. I was totally dead, and they were moving with the big van, like with the big camper. They were moving, looking for a parking, and I just fell asleep, like on the back of we had a bed, and I fell asleep, and I don't remember anything else. Like, I died until next day. Yeah. Actually, I would say like it was not for the results at all. Like, I think it was the race I suffered the most, but Iceland was great. For me, Iceland was super nice. Like, the landscape and everything was super different, super amazing. And yeah, I didn't have good legs there. I was super tired. My Garmin wasn't working. Like, I had a lot of problems in the race, but I still enjoyed so much. And I think that's the good thing about gravel, that it's not always about the results or how fit you are. It's also what you get to see. And yeah, I would say the Rift. Yeah. So last season, I didn't really do any pre-season. I just went to ski all I could, because I was like so stressed with the bike, and I didn't want to know anything else about the bike. And after, like, I just took the bike 2 weeks before Traka, and that's when my season started. But I didn't really thought about a real season. Like, I didn't know I was going to Unbound or Rift or any other races. So for this year, I'm really trying to prepare myself a little bit more. I'm not going to train like when I was a pro, because now I'm working and I have no time. But I want to be more prepared and just be more fit, and with the only reason that I want to enjoy races more. So when you are more fit, everything is easier. So yeah, I want to keep enjoying gravel. I want to do some long races, like long distance races, and just keep doing things with the girls. Yeah, so I came back with the trainer, with the coach I had when I was in the team in my cycling team, and he knows me very well. He knows that I'm working, and he knows that where I live, it's not like what people think about Spain. It's like the north of Spain. We have a lot of snow, we have bad weather, and actually, like, it's the perfect place for skiing. And I was a cross-country skier before, so I use that a lot for training. I also like ski mountaineering, and that's what I do. And I'm also riding my gravel bike this winter a lot, because we didn't have much snow until now. So yeah, I'm doing like the 3 sports, and even like I like also the gym, and I like to combine everything, because then when we get into the season, everything gets super focused on the bike. So I'm trying to do like more sports.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, like, I started in cycling super late. I mean, I've never thought, until now, I've never thought like of getting on a bike or anything. And I just like, I think I saw some girls. I saw some girls on the TV, like some racing, and I was like, I want to do that. And I stopped. It was when I stopped cross-country skiing. So I talked to my parents, and as I said, like they have always helped me, and they got me a road bike, and that's how I started. And I think it's the best thing I did. So I would say just go for it and be comfortable. Like you can always go with men. Men are not always stronger than you. Like they are men with your same level. They are, of course, there are men with a higher level or lower level, and also girls. So it's just you just have to find your group, what you like, and go for it. I don't really have an opinion on that. Like I like when it's only women, and I like when it's only. I mean, when we are all mixed. I think gravel is supposed to be fun. It's not like real racing. I mean, we have real racing like focused on, but we have also like the gravel that it's more like for an adventure. And actually I love to do that with more people, and they don't have to be only girls. Like I like to do it with boys, with girls, and with like everybody. And that's the good thing about like mass starts, like when we start all together. But also like if you want real racing and you want like things to be fair on a race, then we should race only girls. So it depends on which kind of race it is, and with what are you looking for. So yeah, as I've been competing in road cycling, I saw there's a big difference from men's team and women's team, and I think that's going better every time. But still, there's still a lot to do. And I think in gravel we are more girls every time, and I think that's great. But I would love to see more girls and to see like more girls in gravel, not only racing, also like riding or doing adventures like bikepacking or anything like that. I don't want to crash, so I hope I didn't crash this season. And also I hope to get more experience like last year. I think the races we have this year will be amazing. So I want to take the most of them, and also to meet more new people, and just, yeah, to keep enjoying gravel. Because I work in a hospital and I see people with injuries, and I mean I've been crashing a lot when I was racing in road, but anything like I never had broken bones or anything, but I'm afraid of that. Like I'm a really active person and I'm always doing something, and for me being like if I have to stop because of an injury would be like super bad. I don't want. Not really. Like when I was in road cycling, I think because of the peloton and everything, I was more afraid of that, and because you hear that all the time. Like a lot of days, people like get injured on a race peloton, but not in gravel. Actually, I was talking to my coach that in gravel I go down. I like the downhills. I do them better than in road, and it doesn't make really sense because I'm not a super technical person or anything. But yeah, in gravel I feel more comfortable than in road. And I'm not thinking about crashing all the time. But it's a thing I don't like and I'm afraid of.
But why you are racing?
No. Yeah, no. When I'm racing, like I mean, we are doing super long races, so you can think a lot of things during the race. Like the rift for me was 8 hours. And I wasn't feeling super good, and I remember going through all the stages. Like I thought, like, why am I here? Then how lucky I am to be here. Then again, I was super sad. Then I was super happy, and then you are like afraid because you will crash because everything is so super technical. Of course, you think like this, but it's not a thing I'm thinking in a start line.
My name is Maria and I'm from Iceland. I'm mother of 2 girls, which are 5 and 15-year-old. And I have a boyfriend, which is also a cyclist. I'm a psychologist and a coach. So pretty much the basic that, what Maria from Iceland have in her life. I was a huge fan before they found me. That's because the clothes from Café Cycliste, they are really good for Icelandic condition. We need a lot of different fabrics and technology in the clothing. So then I was so lucky that they found me because they needed a model for photo shoot in Iceland. And they looked up for some results in competitions and found my Instagram account and saw that I was already a Café Cycliste fan. So there it started. So yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah, and then I was in photo shooting for Café, and then they called me 2 years ago and asked me to come to Nice to participate in a big gravel event there, Rock d'Azur, which is cool gravel event. And I did that, and I came on podium in second place. And that was part of, 2 weeks later, they set up a meeting and was like, hey, we should maybe do a real gravel women's team. And they wanted me in, wanted to ask if I was up to it. And I was like, yes. A little bit shy about it though. And they were like, yeah, now we have to find one European Maria and one American Maria. So yeah, we did, that was the start of the team. I've been thinking about last season a lot because I was like, is this really happening to me? Because I love travel, I love to go to new places and meeting a lot of people. But I was really proud I'm really proud when people come to Iceland. And I'm always so curious to know what questions people want to ask, what their interests are for Iceland. So yeah, I'm gonna pick that as my favorite, even though I have so many favorite moments. Not my favorite being stuck at airports. I have had a lot of hours walking around airports, but yeah, that's part of the travel life. My best race was the Traka. It was in the beginning of the season. And in the beginning, you never know how your form is, and I had such a good time. So many amazing people that I met in the route. It's 200 kilometers. It takes 8 hours, and I stopped for almost 2 minutes on this 8 hours. Yeah, it was my favorite, and of course also because I got the podium third. So I got to have the champagne on podium. That's always a nice... I look at this season, my feelings are it will be so adventurous. It's like, yeah, my goal is to, it's cliche, but do my best every time. It's not an excuse, but I'm getting 43 years old. but yeah, having fun, yeah, it's just go for it. Yeah, it's really hard to train a lot during the winter time in Iceland, because for such a long races, it's a big day, so you have to train a lot every week. And it's you get really stiff in the cold, and sometimes you just cannot go out for a ride, so you have to be indoor, and that's not my favorite because I'm in cycling for the joy of outdoor. So I do training, I do go abroad and take some training, But also I do a lot of weightlifting, and also because that is really good for my body, and I wanna be good when I'm older and like really old. And yeah, I do swim, do sauna, rowing machine, cross-country skiing. So yeah, I would prefer to have more like time on the bike, but is what it is. Women, they always have to see how everything is at the end. So they are not really, they don't dare to just jump in the deep part, and they should be more good about themselves. Just participate. You don't have to have the greatest results. Participating in events and like competitions, it's not everything about the results. It's also just having good time on the bike and do your best. That is what it is. But many women don't really get it.
But what revolution would you want to see this year?
With women, yeah, I would want to see women to sign up for race or events in cycling, no matter gravel, road or mountain bike or whatever, and participate. Like ride with other people. Sometimes it's only women, sometimes a man's around. Ride with, yeah, that's the evolution. I want people to feel the fun part of it, not always result part of cycling. So yeah, more women on bikes would be pretty good.
What about the?
I would say about women and men start together. I would say I would prefer that, because it's when a group starts, they are like. If we take, we can have discussion about the front pack, but at the back there are not so many women participating. That's why the people the women are at the back, they are maybe riding their day alone, but there are also men that are at the similar level, riding the same pace. So having somebody, no matter if it's a man or a woman. So I would say start together for that reason, for the pack that comes at the back. But there is a problem about by the women and men riding for podium, because women can take advantage of faster men. So yeah. Pros and cons. Yes, I'm a mom, and you need the preparation. Like, you don't have all the time. And my girls, this is the life they know. This is what me and my boyfriend, we do both ride our bikes a lot. And we are like, I always say, we are role models for them. So they say we wake up in the morning, then maybe my boyfriend has gone out for the ride, and my little girl, oh, is Papa out on his bike? Yeah, okay. It's just like that. So we just figure out how we do it, and it's easy if you just plan, and of course when you are with your kids, be there. Like, don't be absent. Don't be in your phone or thinking about other things. Be with your kids when you are with them. That's something that many people don't think about, or like, because I'm traveling a lot and my boyfriend also. So we are abroad a lot, but when we are there, we are truly there. So yeah. My strength in sports, it's I've always been a sport person. I was just outdoor sport kid. I was skiing when I was little. I did try a lot of sports. So yeah, my strength is I need to move. So I don't need to I don't need much of a motivation to train, because that's just something it's so natural for me to move and train. So that's nothing that I have to yeah. But my weakness, oh yeah. Another thing about strength is I'm used to all kinds of weather. So yeah, so weather is it's a nature for me. So I really like. Sometimes I like my rides in bad weather more than in good weather, because my expectation for the ride in bad weather was lower, and I come home happier that I did it than in good weather. It's strange, but yeah. So my weakness is probably I don't know. I'm getting older. I'm not as fast as I was. I'm a bit heavier than the lightest girl, so climbing, in Iceland we don't have high mountain roads or gravel roads, so climbing is something, I've never been able to train that in a daily basis, so yeah.